Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's February 25th, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, flying solo this morning as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by Life Wallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. A lot to talk about this morning. The Miami Hurricanes got a big commitment late last night from Darryl Porter Jr., the transfer cornerback from West Virginia. And I can't state strongly enough how big of a deal I feel this is for the Miami defense this season. They were light at the cornerback position, in my opinion. I think they needed somebody to play opposite of Tyreek Stevenson, and I think now they've found that guy in Darryl Porter Jr., a kid who has 3 years of eligibility left, which is even a greater bonus, and has played some college football at West Virginia and graded out pretty darn well. So you factor that in, and now Miami suddenly has a little bit more strength and depth at the cornerback position, and that should go miles when the season starts this fall. So big transfer, big land in the transfer portal, Darryl Porter Jr. to the Canes. All right, getting to some of the other news of the day, we take a look today on running back reps in spring practice, running back competition in spring practice, how things might go. Not the easiest thing to predict, quite frankly, when you look at the bodies that are at the position and maybe the hidden needs at a position that I think a lot of people in general would be saying is in a pretty good spot for Miami. Jalen Knighton coming back. You're hoping Don Chaney gets healthy, but the truth of the matter is Jalen Knighton is a smaller running back. Don Chaney has not been able to stay healthy for 3 years now, so you don't really know what you're going to get from him. And that's why Miami went out looking under Mario Cristobal to get stronger at the running back position, and I think they have. So Henry Parish, let's talk about him for a moment. How might he be used? When he was in high school, kind of like Knighton, he was a little bit on the smaller side, and that really played a big role in Miami not seriously recruiting him. Well, he's not as small anymore. I mean, he's been in a college strength program for a few years now, probably weighs ballpark 195, 200 pounds. And I think he's a guy that has a chance to be a starter in the fall, quite honestly. I personally like Jalen Knighton a lot as a change of pace back, a guy that can come in the game on third down and do a lot of different things. I did not like the body of work that I saw last year running up the middle. I just don't think that's his game. And I think the new offensive coordinator, Josh Gaddis, is going to have a lot of options now with the different skill sets that he's got at the running back position. So I'm looking for Parish to get a lot of burn on early downs next fall. The other thing that can't be discounted is the most talented guy at the running back position very quickly could turn out to be Trevante Citizen, the just absolutely impressive freshman signee, great get for Cristobal and the staff. And if he shows up in fall camp and he is clearly the best guy, I think they'll put him on the field and platoon him a little bit with Henry Parish and Jalen Knighton, and that would give them a 1-2-3 punch with those three guys that would be pretty darn impressive, in my opinion. So where would that leave Chaney? Where would that leave Thad Franklin? Where would that leave Cody Brown? And these are all questions that are going to be determined in the coming weeks. And I would go to any betting window we could find and predict right now that there is no way that all of those guys are going to be on the roster in August. I think you're going to see some reverse transfer portal action. I think the top candidate for that is probably Cody Brown. I would also keep an eye in that regard on Thad Franklin. I think that once Citizen gets into camp here and these current running backs are able to see how good that kid is, then, I think a lot of them could get antsy feet, and you might see a couple transfers, and, we'll see what happens there. But no doubt that the running back depth, the running back position, the running back competition in spring practice is one of the more significant subplots for the Hurricanes offense under Josh Gaddis. All right, other stories on the website this morning. We take a look at Jacoby George, who has gained 12 pounds under Coach Feld in the strength and conditioning program here in the offseason. And if Mike Harley is as good of a predictor as he pretends to be, Jacoby George could emerge this fall as a go-to receiver for the Hurricanes, a guy that really is ready to make a breakthrough. So he's certainly somebody that we're going to be watching very closely in spring practice. We've talked quite a bit on this show in recent days and over the past weeks about, does Miami need a go-to receiver? Does Miami have a go-to receiver? All very pertinent topics and issues. So if somebody can emerge at that level, I think you got to look at Jacoby George. You got to look at Keyshawn Smith. I think you got to look at Frank Latson, who has now transferred from Clemson. Those are the three guys that probably have the best chance to emerge as go-to receivers in spring practice and then again in the fall. And we can debate forever, does Miami have to have a go-to guy? Does Miami have to have a number one receiver? And I think Matt and I spoke about it a few days ago, in that I said that I've been going back and forth on it quite a bit. Like, I would have said absolutely a number one receiver is a vital component of a successful team in the ACC. Well, now I'm not as convinced, just because of all the different weapons that Miami has on offense. When you look at the backs, when you look at the tight ends, and when you look at the whole body of wide receivers that are on the roster. So, we take a look at Jacoby George today. We'll be talking more about receivers here in the coming days as we go through spring practice. But I think you'll enjoy us jump-starting the debate on that issue at the receiver position. All right, we'll have more here in a moment, but first let's hear from our friends at Life Wallet.
I will be your shield in the fiercest battle. I'll defend you.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Cleveland Reed, and I play offensive line, and my job is to protect. I protect my family with Life Wallet. How about you?
Of course I got Life Wallet. It's the best way to protect my family.
Long as we go together, we'll die, we'll never be a light. Couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never.
To protect you and your family, get Life Wallet now.
Life Wallet. Saving time, saving lives.
I still think that's the best Life Wallet commercial that's come out so far. And let me tell you something, if those guys on the O-line come through, this is going to be a damn good offense. And you're going to see Jacoby George, Keyshawn Smith, and those guys have very good seasons in 2022. All right, we've been giving you a look at the 2023 prospects that Miami's starting to recruit. We got a couple of those stories on the website today. Since he's come on to the staff at Miami, new quarterbacks coach Frank Ponce has been on a Mississippi prospect by the name of Mac Howard, a kid that he recruited to Appalachian State and now is continuing to recruit now that he's at Miami. Does not have an offer yet. He's waiting on an offer, but he will visit Miami on March the 7th. And I think after that visit, there will start to be a little bit more clarity on his prospects for getting a Miami offer. Another story today on Dillard offensive tackle Rico Jackson, who's also getting looked at by the Hurricanes and could factor into recruiting. But the one thing I'll mention there is that Alex Mirabal, and we've been talking about this, is recruiting an awfully large number of offensive linemen. So it's very hard to focus right now on which 3 or 4 are going to end up in the recruiting class. I'm not sure that Rico Jackson is one of the front burner guys. We'll see how it evolves. But after his visit, I think that there will be a clearer picture on exactly how serious he will factor in to the overall picture of Miami recruiting at the offensive line position, which with Alex Mirabal coming in with Mario Cristobal as head coach is clearly going to take on great importance. All right, couple things on other sports. Miami basketball, huge game against Virginia Tech Saturday at the Watsco Center, and don't sleep on Virginia Tech. Miami beat them the first time, but this has been one of the hottest teams lately in the ACC, and Virginia Tech does have the capability to continue its wake up and give Miami a very tough time in this game at home. I think it's a very important game for Miami to keep the momentum going into the ACC tournament, going into March Madness. But Virginia Tech is capable of giving Miami a tough game. And then while all this is going on, the baseball team will be having a quickie series with Harvard at Marklight Stadium. You're basically going to have a game at 7 o'clock on Friday and a quick turnaround to a 1 o'clock game on Saturday. So, a little bit of a tight window there of competition for the Canes. But look for Miami to continue its hot start to the season. All right, that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. If you're missing Matt Shodell, he's out torturing some stone crabs somewhere, no lie. So I'm sure we're going to hear some war stories when we return on Monday. So for the absent Matt Shodell, I'll say I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us today on Good Morning CaneSport, and we'll see you next time, everybody.